Hello, I'm Jillian Boudreau, and welcome to another installment of Eagles on the Air for the 2020 to 2021 school year. Here's what's been happening. Middletown High School South bids farewell to Mr. Kirkpatrick after 3.5 years as our principal. Mr. Kirkpatrick will be moving on to another position as the District Director of Student Support Services at the Central Office. Superintendent of Schools, Mary Ellen Walker, had this to say about Mr. Kirkpatrick. Mr. Kirkpatrick brings a wealth of experience as a leader in our district, having served as principal at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. The District Director of Student Support Services is a crucial position overseeing district-wide school operations, including student and staff health, safety and security, as well as school counseling and crisis management. He will be remembered for his kindness, compassion, and student-centered learning environment. In the meantime, Mr. Graziano, a former district principal and currently a director in the curriculum department, will supervise the school for a short period in December prior to the interim principal's appointment. The Latin Honor Society is sponsoring a blood drive on December 29th between 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. All donors will receive COVID-19 antibody testing and a Red Cross long-sleeve shirt. Masks must be worn by all donors in order to participate. Please visit redcrossblood.org in order to book an appointment. We have a new segment on Eagles on the Air called Eye on Alumni, where we reach out to former South students and see what they're up to. This week, Maura Collins caught up with the writer of Minions and the Secret Life of Pets, Brian Lynch. Let's check it out.
Thank you for coming today. It's really a big deal for all of us, so just thank you for that.
That's nice of you to say. Thank you for asking me to do this. It's really fun. I love going to South. The people I met there really made an impact on me as a person and what I do still. It took all of like a couple months to find the other kids there that were interested in film. We would make shorts after school, and that's the best memory of South I have. I love the classes. I love my classmates, and I had a bunch of art teachers and that were really supportive and of what I did. And without them, I don't know if I would have continued to without their encouragement. I love South. This is so cool.
You could check out the full interview by going to the Middletown Movieola YouTube channel. A group of students from Middletown South, going by the name Zip Skate Co., have been using their extra time to create their company and brand while skating around the Monmouth County area. Watch for the release of their new clothing items and future videos. For more information, check out their website at zipskateco.square.site. Both of the South and North film programs were surprised by a message from actress and director Melissa Joan Hart. Let's take a sneak peek.
Hey there, it's Melissa Joan Hart sending so much love to Mr. Cullen and Mr. Corey's TV film classes. It's all about the storytelling, and that's what the great Gary Marshall once said to me. He said, just tell the story, and that's the most important part of directing. So I hope you guys are able to get back into your program and keep on trucking. All right, lots of love. Mwah.
Current and former students recently participated in a piece we're calling How Did I Do That?, where they explain how they created some of their award-winning work. In this episode, we'll look at how these students created their award-winning experimental films. Let's take a look.
Hi everybody, my name is John General, and I'm one of Mr. Coy's former students, and I directed the short film Painted Love. How I created the VFX for it was by having two actors act out in front of a green screen, and then what I did was key them out and then turn them into silhouettes using After Effects. I used overlay effects to kind of bring out some of that texture in the brick wall and add that to the silhouettes to make them blend a little bit better, to make them look like they were painted on by the graffiti artist. Hope you enjoyed it.
My name is Morgan Barth, and Mr. Corey asked me today to talk to you guys about my two experimental films, Contingency and Transcended. So Contingency was a ride. It was so difficult to get everybody together. I remember the end of my junior year, it was a really hard time, and Mr. Corey showed us this short film called Meshes of the Afternoon, and I felt very attached to that very fast, and I was like, wait, how can I express that same emotion? The most important thing that I think came from Contingency was learning my editing style. I started using colors, different cuts, and then that leads me into Transcended. The hardest part about filming Transcended was making sure that the match cuts were as clean as they could be. I was about 75% immersed into Adobe, and I practically sat there hours on end trying to figure out, all right, how can I make this match cut look cool? How can I use this jump cut successfully? How can I use color to portray emotion? It was just this whole toboggle in my brain trying to figure out experimental film.
Hi, my name's Sean Cudahy. I'm currently a senior at Emerson College, in my last semester studying media arts production. An experimental film, at the end of the day, should really look at questions and situations that people would never normally be in and see how people would react to them. It doesn't necessarily have to always make a ton of sense. It doesn't always necessarily have to be a cohesive story. It just has to show what people will do in situations that could never happen to them.
I'd say experimental film is kind of taking the idea and almost going beyond the genre, like a cut and dry genre, like horror action. It doesn't have to make logical sense or even follow a chronological timeline, kind of like what Tarantino does in Pulp Fiction with nonlinear storylines. But it can follow like a narrative if you want it to. For experimental, it doesn't always have to like involve a meticulous shot. It can be more in the moment, kind of just like whatever you think of in that time. Make it, well, experimental.
So experimental films, in my opinion, are something that make you feel a visceral and emotional reaction to them. They're not just a bunch of random pictures or clips. It should have a theme throughout them that makes an audience feel an emotion. And you should go into filming it with an idea of what that emotion should or could be. So it could be as simple as, doing a time lapse, filming a time lapse of a plant growing and dying, and then another plant growing out of its decay. And then in between everything, you put in pictures and clips of old and young people. And some people might see that as death and decay, while others might see it as life and rebirth.
Mr. Kozak and the Drama Club just released the fall play in a virtual format. The play is actually 3 one-act Zoom plays by all female writers. It's about hope, reminding us that this too shall pass. You could check the play out at the Middletown Movieola YouTube channel. Congratulations to Mr. Bayers for being nominated to the Bruce Springsteen Archives and Center for American Music at Monmouth University. He brings over 30 years of experience in both education and music. Lastly, congratulations to the 2020 to 2021 Middletown High School South Homecoming Court. This year's King and Queen are Dan Agoni and Emily Salvador. I'm Jillian Boudreau for Eagles on the Air, and that's what's been happening.